All right, good morning. It's been a while. I forgot what I even called this. I think I said I don't care and eat some veggies. I have a couple of things, all kinds of things I want to talk about. And it's going to be a little bit of a ramble. But okay, so let's start with I have been trying to, I talk about curating what's in my feed, right? I like to make sure that whatever it is, oh, I'm sorry, you can tell my allergies are starting to talk to me. I think everything's going to start blooming soon. Um, Gosh, I, anyways, when I talk about my feed, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok, right? I like to curate my feed so that when I'm tired of seeing certain things, like I can get rid of it. Like I search on certain things so that I'm showing more of the things that I'm interested in. But for some reason, I can't seem to shake some of the political stuff. Like I don't mind some of it, but if you watch one or two things, you're gonna get like 15. And it's kind of annoying. I don't even know how people can constantly report on it without having such doom and gloom, right? Like, and I think right now I'm just in this space where I want to be a little bit ignorant, I guess, because everybody else gets to be in the United States. Everybody else gets to be ignorant. We already are isolating ourselves on the worldwide stage. Um, the economy is tanking. So we're like hated by everybody. Like not to our own, well, for the people who voted the way they did, but it's not my own doing. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't like to keep putting all that stuff into my spirit right now. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why. I'm middle aged. And so usually around this time frame in your life, I'm in my late 40s, you tend to, even though you're not supposed to, but you tend to think about all the things. You're in the prime of your life, right? You're constantly doing things, you're running your kids around, you're taking care of things. You still, for those of you who work outside the home, your career's popping and locking, etc. So when you got all those things going on, and then you still got to figure out ways of taking care of yourself, the last thing you want is to constantly worry about what's happening in the economy, right? Like everything is just bad right now. There's a level of delusion going on with people. And so I don't want to put that in my spirit. But see, YouTube and TikTok wants to continue feeding me the same stuff. And I'm like, I would like to look at something else. One of the things I've been looking up was I go through this about every year anyway, like gardening stuff, right? Now, last year I didn't do much of my own gardening or anything like that. The last year or two, because I know it's like feast or famine for me, but I like to grow my own stuff at times. I don't have like a big garden, but I will grow my own stuff. And the reason why I talk about this now is it's even more important to learn how to grow things indoors, outside, or whatever. Even if you're in a city, you can grow things indoors. And I say this because at this point, we have no control over what's happening with the vegetables, with our produce, right? We don't have any control over that. Um, all the tariffs and this, that, and the bickering back and forth between the countries and us threatening to uh, make another country or area or area of the world the first state, putting up, all kinds of real estate. Like the whole thing is just turning nonsensical. But what I say we can control is if we grow our own stuff, right? Like we don't have to constantly be a victim to everything because everybody who has any position of power right now, they're just going to clown right now. But you can control what you can control. Number one, you can control what you consume on a daily basis. Oh, yes. Now, look, I'm taking a slight back road today because I don't feel like dealing with the traffic since I had the late shift today with putting my kids on a bus. So I usually notice that there's a point in my videos where it starts to pixelate for like about maybe 15 seconds or so. And that's when I take this particular route. So just hang in there. If I start, just know that it will clear up shortly. But anyway, the point I'm making is we need to start controlling that the things, we need to start controlling the things that we can control, which is what we are consuming across the digital airwaves. We don't have to consume all of the negative content. Two, we can choose to consume good things, right? So there's the choice not to consume the bad stuff, and then there's the choice to consume the good stuff. Three, we keep talking about how our produce is going to go up, but there are things we can do. We can grow our own vegetables. You can grow them in containers and grow bags. If you have any kind of land, if you have any stamp of land, you can throw some stuff out there unless you paved over it. In that case, you're just going to go back to like potting some of your things. Yesterday, I decided to buy another tree. It's a plum tree. And I've been going back and forth over the last few years anyway with buying trees. And I thought that when I purchased my apple tree several years back, I thought it was dead. It wasn't. It might have been 4 or 5 years back, but I wound up cutting it. I don't know what I was doing. But my peach tree works fine. So it's bearing fruit, etc. So now I'm going to put in a plum tree, and it'll definitely help with bringing in more pollinators and that type of thing, even though my peach tree is self-pollinating. The point I'm making is when you invest in yourself and you invest in your health and stuff like that, like you don't have to always depend on everyone. There are things that will begin to bear fruit or whatever for you this year. Some things might take several years. But I'm like, if it's going to take several years, still invest in yourself today. Put it in a pot. You can get a dwarf tree and have just a gigantic pot for it. The point I'm making is we got to just look at like the landscape that is playing out in front of us and determine what things do we want to like take care of on our own. Like there's things that we can take care of on our own. So I know people are going to continue to complain about the vegetables and that type of thing. I mean, and we should be concerned and we should voice our opinions on those things. But we can also go get some seeds. We can get some cucumber seeds. I mean, you know what I mean? We can take seeds from peppers and grow our own peppers. Those are things that we can do. Lettuce grows easily. Heck, I grew lettuce. It got to the point I had too much lettuce. We could not consume the amount of lettuce that was growing. My main point is this. We need to start controlling the things we can control, which is stop consuming crazy stuff, consume good stuff, grow our own food. You know what we can do? Spend less. Just spend less. Now, let me just tell you, I know I'm a hypocrite because I run my kids around, and so I'm going to be spending, right? And I try to minimize how much I spend because I got to put gas in my car. I got to get them to their games, their practices, their games, their tournaments, so etc. You know, but the point I'm making is there are things we can control, and so while we are continuously, stressing about the cost of food, which is a real concern, I say do some of the small things, which isn't going to take care of everything. I just want to be clear. No, and I don't think if you go and plant a couple of tomato plants and pepper plants that this is going to solve your problems. No. But what I am saying is this is a little bit of a way to take back some of the control for yourself. And that's all you can do. There's things that are going to be outside of our control. There are things that are going to be outside of our control. Maybe we need to find a way to have more solar lights. I keep saying I'm going to test out this new light thing that I got to see how it works and if it really lights up the way it says it does, right? There are things that we can do for ourselves. We need to consider those things. Because right now, these people are clowning, and we can affect some things like with how much we spend, right? When you start impacting people in their wallets, people start to course correct. Everyone does. Everyone changes course. When you're fat with a surplus, you're going to do certain things, and when you're experiencing a deficit, you make a change. So I'm just trying to let people know this is going to be a not so fun time period right now, but do the things you can do, control the things you can control. So, like I said, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm growing some of my own vegetables again, right? Because that's just where I'm at with it. Grow, I can start them inside, you can put them outside, you can still grow them inside, have a grow light, whatever. Grow some of your own stuff. I'm just saying. There was something else I was going to talk about and I completely forgot. But I titled this, I'm like, look, I don't care to sit there and continue. It was really, I didn't want to continue consuming some of this bad stuff. Like, I care, but I don't. Like, on a daily basis, I don't want to be inundated with the next doom and gloom statistic. I don't. But that's all that's out there. And so, although we need to be aware, I don't know if I need to consume 24/7. I don't think that's good for my mental health. And for the people who are reporting all of this stuff, I don't know how they're remaining positive. Like, that's got to take a toll on them too. All right. Well, that's all I've got. I need to put on some lip gloss that's got a little bit more pop to it. It's just a little too neutral for me today. And until next time, don't forget to subscribe.